you somewhere new?
I'll show you where I am.
Don't encourage her. Don't encourage her.
I'm in my living room. So
Wow.
room.
Oh.
So there
Don't
you go.
encourage her.
There's
Oh,
where
no,
I am.
Stacey, I'm coming. I'm there.
See, this is my living room, you see. So
Beautiful.
I'm just see there we go. That's why I married this man. Only for the view, nothing else.
I love that.
That's why I married him.
I don't blame you. I'd marry someone for that view.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not in the kitchen, although I do have to go and put food on at some point, as is the customary routine.
Yes, we. What are you having for dinner?
Chicken breast fillets in honey mustard sauce with Jersey Royal potatoes, green beans, broccoli, and sweet corn.
That sounds good.
I have an actual serious question. What is the point of sweet corn? It comes out exactly the same as it goes in and it tastes vile. What is the point?
Oh,
That's
you're
it,
exactly the
Liz.
same
I'm
as
sorry.
my dad. My dad says the exact same thing.
Zoe, you are not right. Amazing.
And what's with that stuff on a stick you get from like KFC? Trying to make it cool, like it's some kind of lollipop, like it's healthy or something? No.
Corn on the cob, you mean?
Yeah, that's not cool.
I mean, corn. Zoe, you need to have corn on the cob cooked over an open fire. You'll change
I
your.
don't need to have corn on the cob anywhere.
With lashings of butter.
No, I don't. It's wrong.
Loads of butter, salt on top. Hey, Beck. We're just busy discussing sweet corn and corn on
Why
the
you
cob.
shouldn't eat it.
I mean, obviously, exactly what we should be discussing on our recorded Q&A call. This is what happens when you get to week 12 of the program. It's all downhill. I love it. Zoe, how was your trip?
It was amazing, and I've got to do a little live later on to tell everyone how amazing it was, and then I'm going to blog about it and stuff tomorrow, so I can put more links to it and put it out.
Amazing.
My daughter was saying the point of this trip isn't to do live for your business, and I was like, it kind of is. As well as spending time with you.
You're like, the lives will only be.
Yeah. Come to realise that they get used at every point possible.
But the thing is that the lives only have to be a couple of minutes, and then the rest of the time you can genuinely enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
I think that is it's the balance, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
When you've got YouTubers who film everything that they do, you know, every time that they put up a tent or move around, or, you know, like they film the walk in and the walk out, that takes the fun out of what you're doing. But actually doing bits and pieces of it for a really specific purpose, is slightly different. But it did look like you had a really good time all the way through that. So
we did. It was epic, and we made all the right decisions and made it enjoyable. So that was quite fun.
I loved that. I love when you're like, yeah, we just got a taxi for the last 3 miles. I was like, yes, that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's all about the process, not the outcome. We batter ourselves for this outcome that we've kind of set ourselves, and no one else set us that outcome. And I think sometimes we get hung up on that, don't we? It's kind of a lot of my stuff is about. So.
Oh, it is good. So, ladies, how are we all doing? What's been going on?
I have finished both ebooks.
Wow.
Yay!
I'm busy setting up the live
Amazing.
and linking all the pages.
So they all do what they're supposed to. Beck, I was actually going to ask you. I was meant to message you earlier, and I have been absolutely chock-a-block. Could you please email me your ebook? Because the link won't open on my computer for some reason. So I've only been able to look at it on my phone, which I don't think does it enough justice, because it looked epic. And I feel like it needs a lot more attention than just looking at it on my phone.
Okay, cool. I've done changes based on feedback already.
Amazing. Oh, that's so good. I mean, opening it on my phone, just the first bit that I saw looked amazing. The amount of detail in that thing and the timelines, and just it was just So cool.
Yay! That's what I want. So now I actually just need to plan the launch,
Woohoo!
which is going to be based on after I've got like a severe mental block now planning this launch. And yeah, I think I'm going to schedule my call with you, Jackie, and then I'll pop you an email. And then actually, yeah, I don't know why I've got such a mental block, because your instructions are like pretty darn clear.
It's so normal. It's literally so normal. It's I was listening to so there's a book, if you haven't listened to it yet, I think that you should. It's called Chillpreneur by Denise DT. And she basically talks about kind of all of the different elements of like money blocks and putting yourself out into the world, and how perfectionism is the biggest reason why we don't, get anywhere really. But I thought it was really, really interesting, because she was saying that actually what you need to tell yourself, and this is something that I've done and it's worked, and I had done it before I heard, but like she's now explained what I did and it made absolute sense. Basically, you just tell yourself, I'm going to set a holding place. So I'm just going to put this page up as a holding place, and then I'll come back and perfect it. But actually, each of those holding places you just put out into the world. So obviously, like, don't do a rubbish job, but like, do the best job you can at the moment, even if it's not perfect, and then put it out. And she said,
currently where I am at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But she said, like, she's got a like an audio session, and she said that it's 7 years old now, and she's been saying for 7 years that she should perfect it. But that course alone, just that one thing, has meant she's had 2,000 sign-ups to her program, just from that one funnel piece, nothing else. And her program retails for like $2,000. So actually that one imperfect thing that she put out into the world 7 years ago is still making her a really good return on investment. And even though she still thinks that it's not perfect, she's glad that she put it out into the world.
It very much is like that. Even when was finalizing and making them downloadable, etc., there's already like so many things that I want to do to change it and to make it better, and add a video here and like make this different and that different and wada. And it's like the first step, just get the damn thing out there.
Yeah.
Like Matthew's already saying, oh, you should make like one free chapter and then people can download it, and that's how you should link them in, and then you must add like a discount to this, and you must click it so that they can upgrade automatically from the standard to the premium. And I'm like,
calm down,
get it out there. Like,
calm down. But the thing is like, this is one of those moments where all of the good intentions of your family are not what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Like, they say it because they love you, they say it because they want you to be successful, but actually he is a very different person to you.
In the same breath, he's like, no, you must only make it 100 grand to download.
You're telling me he can go and get lost.
I was like, no. Like,
that's what you say. That's when you say to him, Beck, you say, sweetheart, thank you so much for your input, but you are not my ideal customer. And leave it at that.
Pretty spot on, because he's like, well, that's what I would pay for an ebook.
Yes, that's because you're a man. But this is the thing, like, whenever anybody gives you feedback, you just need to put it through a filter.
Mm.
You need to think, like, actually, is this person my ideal customer? And is what they're saying, like, does it go against my gut? Because there are so many ways to set up a business. There's so many ways. And actually, you need to take the path of least resistance. So if you look at somebody and you go, oh, well, they're successful and they're doing videos, so that's what I should do. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
they're doing videos because they're comfortable and happy doing videos, so that comes across in the video, so they're successful doing them. But actually, if you're not the type of person that likes to be in front of the camera and you don't want to do videos, then don't set up your business to include them.
100%.
Like, it's really, really important that actually you set up the path of least resistance, because that's what's going to get you out into the world. Once you're out into the world and you can pay somebody to help you build amazing videos, that's different. You know, and that's what you've just got to keep thinking, like, what is the path of least resistance at the moment that'll make you really comfortable to put your stuff out into the world?
What do you think now that once I've interlinked the chain, make sure like everything's interlinked, and then I need to set up my automated email per each download? I haven't done the chain yet. That is on my list once I like see how this, even if I make one sale, that will then pay for at least like the next 2 months worth of MailChimp.
Absolutely.
So like that is on the cards, but in the interim, I need to then, once I've completed, set up the automated email so that they can download it off of their email. And I know this sounds stupid because it was the entire point of your call and everything, but what would you say is the next point or main thing that I would need to do to kind of move forward in now setting up and planning my launch, so to say?
So
like the number one thing.
So the number one thing is knowing how you're going to communicate it. So do you have a list of people already? Yeah.
I've got some people on the mailer that have already signed up.
Cool. Okay, lovely. And then you've got a freebie.
Yeah.
That leads into the checklist.
Yeah.
Cool. So I would be promoting that. Yeah. So promote the freebie. At the end of the freebie, you're going to have a link to your website, to that download page where they can buy the Ultimate Guide wedding plan DIY ebook. And you're going to be feeding them through to that from the end of your freebie. So you're going to be putting your freebie out into the world, and you're going to be thinking about all of the places where you can do that. So you've got amazing relationships with suppliers already. So go out to the suppliers that you've mentioned in your ebook and say to them, I've mentioned you in this ebook. I want to know if you'll send out an email to my free guide to everyone on your mailing list.
Awesome idea.
Yeah, because you've mentioned them in the guide. So actually,
for free.
For now. Exactly, for now. So they will be getting business back through that process. So actually going and talking to them and saying, this is all set up, this is how I'm going to be running it, but actually what I want to do is, this is the email written for you already. This is the free guide that they're going to be linked to. Can you please send this out to your audience? And obviously the bonus for you is that when they get this guide, you end up in front of. And then the nice thing as well, so if you start, if you start with whoever you've got the best relationship with, then once you've got 2 or 3 people on board and you've got the number of people in their audiences, you then start going to other suppliers and saying, if you send this out to your audience, I'll include you in here and you'll go out to all of these other audiences as well. So you start to use that as a leverage to get bigger companies to send it out. So I think for you, that affiliate marketing will work really, really well, because you've already got such a name in that industry and you've already got so many people that are already loyal to you. So that would be my first step for you.
Okay.
Go and find some people who can send it out to their audiences and get some sales. That's all you need to do. Just find
And
some people.
You know, we still don't have power.
I know.
This is day 3 now. It
It's
has
ridiculous.
thrown out our entire week, and it's just our street. I must say, I'm very impressed with the work that they're doing, though. Like, they've set up a huge generator right outside our bedroom window.
Oh, lovely.
Sleep has been fun. So that we can at least plug in our fridges, our internet, and our alarm systems. And there goes the electricity, speaking of. But then they go and they turn off the generator when they do updates, which is what they've done now, obviously.
Oh, lovely.
So luckily we've got a USP, but it only lasts about an hour. So the internet will survive for the next hour. But
Oh,
once my laptop is dead,
well, hopefully they turn it back on soon.
so we'll see how long my laptop or the USB, whichever one dies first now.
And this is
I'm now
why I
seeing the
don't
dark.
live in Africa anymore.
It's such a joke.
Couldn't be living like that.
And this isn't even load shedding. So load shedding is also
Yeah,
going to be starting at the end of this weekend. It's going to be starting again. But this is just because our unit for our street blew up. So they're having to replace the entire unit.
Oh man, that's painful.
So it's like,
That is painful. Oh my god.
and everybody's in lockdown and working from home.
Yeah.
So like,
Isn't that why it blew up? Probably.
I mean, potentially. That is the potential. Don't bring your logic here, Zoe.
Sorry.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
so
Beth,
now we're in the dark again.
Beth,
Great.
do you know what your next move is?
Yeah, and yeah.
Who is 3 people that have come to mind that you could email tomorrow?
Photographer, cake person, and 1 or 2 other good suppliers. So it's putting the email together and then a nice email that I can send to those good relationship suppliers that I can.
Wicked.
And then also sending out an email to those people who are already on my list.
Yep, absolutely. So those guys first, guys on your list first, affiliate guys second, and then you can start going out and pushing on your social media, your freebie, to get.
And then the whole like launch system will fall into place. Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so scary.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Oh,
You've got
man.
this. It's all good.
Okay, well that's me.
No, it's
In the
only a
dark.
pleasure. It's only a pleasure. Yeah, in the dark, it's always good. Okay, Zoe and Liz. Liz is like, not me, not me. Talk to me.
I've been shopping.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Been shopping and having lunch.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
No, me and my daughter went shopping and had lunch. I've done nothing.
So what is on your list that you need to get done? What are your next couple of steps?
I'm going to go back and rework my freebie.
Yeah.
By adding
Is that on the back of feedback from people?
that was on the feedback from my call on the other group.
Okay, cool.
So I've got a few pages to add.
Okay,
And some wording to change, which made sense.
cool, perfect.
I shall do that. But then next on my list is to then, because I finished my my series on Monday.
Amazing.
So then I kick off with hopefully the new freebie to try and get people to download my freebie.
Okay.
That's my next push, is just getting people downloading it and being interested in it.
Amazing. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And are you promoting it anywhere else? Have you got any other lines in mind other than just your 16-week
I
live?
am guest speaker at the end of this month in a business group. So I shall go on there. I've presented to them before. I've run a course for them before.
Okay, good.
So no, but this time I should be going in there and I'm talking about exactly, sort of leading yourself past those blocks. So I shall do that, and I shall promote it there.
Are you able to give them the link to the freebie
I can give that on the day in the
chat
there.
Perfect, wonderful. Yes, definitely do that.
So that's sort of in the pipeline.
Amazing.
I'm hoping that maybe at the end of promoting my freebie, just by doing some lives on it, one of the things that I had thought about doing, which the other group said that they thought was a good idea, was to then do a webinar.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks after that, so keep my posts going all around that same idea, but then do a webinar and say, come on the webinar, and we'll go through it step by step.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can ask questions about if there's any bits in there that maybe, you need to relook at, or want to ask a question of, how they've interpreted it. Is there a different way?
What is the offer you're going to make at the end of the webinar?
To come on the waiting list, ready for the online course.
Okay.
Because I'm just not ready for the online course. It wouldn't take. I could write it as I go.
Yeah.
I could absolutely write it as I go. How things are panning out at home, don't know. I don't want. First version is fine for some. However, I wouldn't want people paying me and I'm not showing up.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So,
could you, off the first webinar, just a thought, if your gut says no, absolutely fine, but could you, off the first webinar, just offer one-to-one slots?
Oh, totally.
So actually just, rather than waitlisting people, saying to them, I just have 2 one-to-one slots for, the right people.
Yeah.
And just set up almost like a mini package.
Yeah.
Even
I'm going against the grain anyway, and my posts say I've only got one space left for this, that, and the other. I've got the whole life. I haven't got any clients, but it's that sort of, I'm just saying, well, I've got one space left, because if I have one person, that's fine. I'll cut my teeth on that one person. So I'm sort of consoling myself for being dishonest. But
the thing is that what you've got to remember, and like in the nicest possible way, yes, you don't want to be dishonest, but at the same time, people do need a bit of a push in order to make decisions. So I would say if you're running a program, don't say, I have 10 people signed up already. Like, don't do that, because if somebody then signs up and they're the only person, that is very hard to fake. But if you're saying that you're running one-to-one sessions and 2 people approach you, they won't know. Yeah, they won't know that you've taken both of them on. Like they will have no idea.
So so yes, of course I can definitely. Thank you.
I love this.
Where's mine?
Yeah, where's mine?
It's in the kettle.
But yeah, I think potentially, Liz, offering. You've done this whole build-up that's been really nice. I think it would be a shame to just waitlist people.
Okay.
I think actually just going with what you're comfortable with right now, and even if it is like a mini, like I'm going to say a mini program, not a program, but like a mini structure of coaching.
Yeah.
And you give it at a beta type price.
Yeah.
To get 2 or 3 people.
One-to-one on a special, for turning up, they can have a one-to-one special offer of.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, and you say to them, it's for this people on this webinar, only. And the offer's only valid for 24 hours from now.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't buy in the next 24 hours, you're not getting it. You're going to have to then wait until whenever.
Yeah.
And then anyone that comes on that webinar, if they don't buy the coaching, so say you have 10 people and only 1 person buys, you can then send them a follow-up email to waitlist for the program.
Yeah.
So you don't lose them waitlisting for the program.
No. Okay.
But you have that opportunity to
I could give them half price for the one-to-one, which is going to be 3,700 in the new year. But as you're on it's £1,500 or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I would say definitely think about what offer you can make at the end that you're really comfortable with, that you know you can deliver, you know, that feels right for you. But I think just offering people a wait list after doing all of this work would be a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Have a think.
Doable.
Doable. Good. That's what I like to hear.
It's doable. I absolutely agree with that, because I'm doing, you know, my one-to-ones, that's not, sounds awful, like you don't have to plan it, but actually if I could get somebody on the one-to-one of the course that I want to do, or build the course with the person, which will then just form the next, so I'll do two things in one.
Absolutely. And what you might find is you might get like 2 or 3 weeks in to your one-to-one journey and actually realize that you feel a bit more confident to actually launch the course.
Yeah.
Because you've got 2 or 3 weeks worth of content.
Yes, and then that can start whilst I then finish
Exactly. So then you can have them kind of coinciding, but being 3 weeks out of each other. So you always are 3 weeks ahead in your course content.
Yeah, that would work well.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's cool. Okay.
and I think that is what's really important. Like with anything, especially if you're doing like a live or a webinar or something like that, you have to know what you're pushing people towards.
Yeah.
So if you think to yourself, I want to get 2 people at the end of that webinar to buy. And Liz, if I'm honest, even if you say to them, you know, I'm going to do like a smacking deal and it's going to be, you know, £950 because you're here, because you're live, and make it a price that people would be insane to say no to.
Yeah.
Because the amount of value you're going to get from building the program, getting those testimonials, like actually you could almost do it for free and it would be worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't do it for free, that's not what I'm saying, but you know what I mean.
Like, what you mean. I need somebody to be able to sort of actually go through all the steps that I need them to go through. Yeah.
Actually, I think that's where, even though you know that what you're offering is worth so much more, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get people to sign up, it was really funny. I was chatting to somebody 2 days ago. They've got massive money blocks, really, really big money blocks. And one of their coaches said to them, well, you know, start high and then come down in price, because you can't put your prices up. And I said to her, that is insane.
Yeah.
I said, how are you ever going to devalue something by putting the price up?
Yeah.
Like just think about that. How are you ever going to devalue something by putting the price up?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No.
I said, the coach you're speaking to has money blocks of her own. Like, don't even go there. That's insane. But actually, people bought my program. So one of the ladies that Zoe recommended, when I spoke to her, she said, but when Zoe bought the program, it was cheaper. And I said, yep, that's because it's developed since Zoe bought the program. So now it's not that price anymore.
Yeah.
And in the moment, she was like, oh, but she still bought it.
Yeah.
She still bought it. And like, that's the thing. Like, logically, you'll never devalue something by putting the price up.
No.
Only devalue it by going in at like 1.7, nobody buys, and then going in at 900.
Yeah.
So pick something you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be 900, just like whatever you're comfortable with. And think about that sort of structure of not necessarily how much effort you're going to put in, but actually how much you're going to get out of the process. It's a key thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It's only a pleasure. Zoe. Let's pick on Zoe for a second.
Oh, that's okay. on that same point, a good friend of mine who's also a coach said that, because I was asking her about like where she gets her clients from and stuff, her main sources, and she said that every time she put her prices up, she got like a glut of new clients.
Yeah, but you will do. The thing is like it's about aligning your prices. So people always say things like you need to charge what you're worth. Yeah, I think that's nonsense, because charging what you're worth, it just doesn't really sit very well with me. And I think actually you need to charge what you want to earn. So if you know that you want to earn £100,000 at the end of the year, and you know that what you're creating, you can only work with 10 clients in a year, then you need to charge it appropriately so that you can earn what you want to earn by the end of the year. And actually, that's what I always think. Like, when you're first starting out, obviously, you've got to be really realistic about what you're going to earn, naturally. But you've got to think about, you know, the amount, it's not about the amount of effort you put in, it's about the amount of value they get out. Because I was chatting to somebody earlier and she was saying to me, oh, like, I hope you're not too busy at the moment, like, you know, beautiful weather, lots going on, da 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 da. And I said, oh yeah, I just launched a program on Monday. And she was like, oh no, like, and I was like, oh no, I only spend 3 hours a week with him. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, I spend 3 hours a week with them. Like, obviously there's admin and stuff, but I only actually have to be live 3 hours a week with them. She was like, that's insane. Like, like, what? I was like, yeah, that's like the whole point of why I built my program the way I did. And actually thinking about that, if I think about like what I charge versus the amount of actual time I spend with people, people might be slightly outraged. But actually, if you think about the amount of value that people get, nobody has said to me, I mean, somebody said to me in the new course, I would have paid double for this and I'm only like 4 days in. I was like, well, there you go. That's what it's about. But actually, that's what you want. Like, you want every single customer to have a no-brain reaction if they were going to recommend you. You know, you want people to instantly be like, oh, actually, Zoe is the person. You don't want people thinking like, oh, but I don't know, she doesn't always deliver, or, you know, the price is a bit, like, you just want people to instantly know that you're valuable. It's really, like, yeah, pricing is one of those funny things, but it is also about what you're comfortable charging. Because, like, regardless about what anything else, like, regardless of anything else that's going on, if you are not comfortable charging what you charge, you're never going to sell it. I had somebody who was coming on the course, they said to me, I've seen a number of courses online, like since I heard about yours, and now I've been looking at others, and I've seen a number that are at like 450, 500, and obviously yours is 900. Like, what's the difference? And I just smiled and I said, me. I said, I am the difference. Like, in all honesty, that's what you're paying for. Because yes, you can find a course online, you know, you can find other people, that's fine. But actually, I am so confident in the price that I've put on my program that if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. It doesn't change my feelings towards the program at all. But it's really weird. When I first ran it, the £600 price tag on it made me feel uncomfortable. Because I hadn't ever run it before and I didn't know what value was in it. And I feel like that's why sometimes actually your beta test needs to be quite low so that you feel really comfortable telling people that price and get like convincing people that it's an investment they should make. How is your launch going, Zoe?
Well, actually, since we spoke on Tuesday, I've mostly been trekking. And
that's fine. You were doing lots of good content while you did so.
Yes. And actually, the proof of it is in the pudding, really. And that's, I want to make some value of it in terms of like some blog posts and some information for people, because I've done treks like that in the past and I've completely ball-bagged myself and been broken for days and pushed myself too hard and kind of enjoyed it in a slightly twisted, different kind of way. But actually, that's not for everybody. No. But doing it the way I did it, much more intuitively, much more mindfully, checking in with how my body actually felt, and making those decisions based on what was the purpose in the first place and all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of kind of metaphors I can draw out of it for content, which is useful. And also because the thing I was struggling with, and this is probably a Stacey question, is because I'm a teacher, right, my day job, and I have been forever, like I'm so used to telling people information, and how this works is kind of like, because I'm such a nerd, I love that people understand how something works. And the bit that I'm really struggling with all this stuff is that like the story bit of how it's going to be different for you afterwards, because I'm kind of thinking, well, if they can't see how having, you know, no blocks on their confidence or something will make it a difference, well, they, you know, how do I tell them that? So that's kind of what I'm thinking in my next 4 weeks before the course launches. That's what I really want to share with people, but I don't know how you do that as effectively as I should, because I think I'm so driven by the information usually.
Two ways come to mind instantly. Firstly, what was your transformation personally? What did you get out of learning all this stuff? How did your life change? What blocks did you overcome? What looks different now to if somebody met you 10 years ago? A really good one to do would be like write the letter to your 10-year-old self. That's a really good exercise to do, because you can say to your 10-year-old self, oh, this, I now know this, I now know this, I now feel this, I now can do this. So use yourself. And I know we've spoken before about there'll be boundaries around sort of like how much you want to share and don't want to share. But the outcomes that you are offering to other people are the outcomes you have already achieved. Okay. So focus on those outcomes that you got. So that's the first way to do it. And that's massively powerful. And you can do that in nuggets over the next 4 weeks, bits and bobs. The letter to the 10-year-old self is a great idea. Pick an age where you felt like you're most vulnerable. Probably for me, it would have been my like 14-year-old self, but whatever, and write that letter. The other one is the testimonial stroke case studies from any of your clients, from any of the people that you've worked with, specifically on the outcomes that they now have. Because ultimately you're selling an outcome. You're not selling a course. You're selling, after 8 weeks, you're going to be in this new place. After 8 weeks, you're going to have this new mindset. So the best way to do it is to find the examples of it and highlight them. So I think you can absolutely afford to go. So you've got 4 weeks. I would say you need to have at least 4 nuggets of yourself in those, so 1 a week. I would say if you can get 1 or 2 testimonial stroke case studies a week. And I know this sounds like a hell of a lot, but I promise that's what will sell your program. Not you telling people, oh, you get 8 weeks and you do this and we do this and we do this. They don't really care how. They want what you've got. So your live videos are brilliant because everybody's watching them going, where did she get the balls to do that? And she just up and left and she's just gone and done it. But what you're selling to people is, I learned this, you can learn it too. I changed my mindset, you can change yours too. So it's for you, it's absolutely going to be based on those outcomes. You're the best case, and then if you can grab some case studies, I would go to town on them. And again, everything you write now for the next 4 weeks is focusing on those outcomes and tying them back to, at the end of my course, you will have A, B, C, and D. So a real good brainstorm for you would be to take your sales page where you talk about your outcomes and the positives, and think, okay, I need to do a piece of content around each of these things I've said that you will get from my course. So take your sales page and dissect it and write, I need to do a post about that. I need to do a post about that. I need to do a post about that. Because then every time somebody reads your post, when they get to your sales page, they're not getting a surprise. Because, oh yeah, she talked about that. Oh yeah, she videoed about that. Oh yeah, yes, I read that. And you're not surprising anybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is great, actually. Yeah, I've actually quite enjoyed doing the live videos. I didn't think that I would.
You come across brilliantly.
So well.
Thank you. A couple of people have said that they like watching them, so I was like, okay, well, I'll do more of those then. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to try and do a few of those when I'm just doing normal stuff, so that it's
the best. I gave somebody a piece of advice yesterday, a lovely Canadian insurance broker. But he literally jumped on and did a live while he was sat in his car, and behind him in the back seat was like his kid's car seat, and there was a mobile thing dangling. The sun was shining in his glasses, and the nugget of information he had to deliver was like 30 seconds. It was brilliant. And I went back to him and said, it was a genius idea to do it in the car, because number one, it shows the urgency of what you were saying to people. It was really important, and you had to sort of stop what you were doing and talk to them. But also the fact that it was the car and it was his kids in the back, not that they were there, but their accoutrements, it just made him out to be a genuinely nice guy. He's got a family, he's a nice man, he's not just an insurance broker, he's a real person. And that was actually quite, because he came back to me, he's like, I never thought about that. I said, but if you invoke that urgency in your customer or in your delivery, your customer's going to go, well, this was really important because he stopped what he was doing, and he came online and said what you had to say really like in the moment. So there's a real powerful thing on video where it is that it seems to be spur of the moment, but you know you're going to do it. You know that, okay, I'm doing this, and so when I plan to walk down to the beach with the paddleboard, blah, blah, I'm going to go live and I'm going to do a quick video, and you know this in your head, but to your audience member, oh wow, she's just jumped on to tell me this. Well, she just had this thought, and she thought about me while she was walking to the beach. They don't know that you've already planned it.
cool. That's handy, actually. Yeah, because you can get a lot more information in a video than you can in a big long blog post, can't you?
Yes.
So, and I've really enjoyed dipping in and out of Liz's. The ones that I've seen, I've really enjoyed, and got some, that just those little snippets have been really lovely.
There's a real sort of, there's a fact that you're essentially, you can talk around about 1,000 words a minute. So if you have a video transcribed, for example, I know I can, your averages would be around that sort of 750 to 900 words per minute is what you're going to get back off your transcribing service.
Yeah.
So if you talk for 10 minutes, you got a 10,000 word article coming back at you. So you're absolutely right. You can talk much more than you can get across in a written piece.
Yeah, so I think that might be my medium of choice then, because some of my blog posts, I look at them and I think, God, that's so long, no one's going to read it, but they might actually listen to it instead.
But if your videos are what you enjoy, repurpose the content. So take your video, listen to it back yourself, and think, right, that's the subject I'm going to write my 500 word blog on. The best blogs would be between anything under 1,000 words. You don't want to go over 1,000 words for a blog post.
Okay.
So if you find yourself writing a blog post that's 1,500, split it into 2 blog posts. Do part 1, part 2, and just say to people, part 2's coming next week. Make sure you come back for it. But yeah, if you can film your videos, you will find that that's where you'll get all your nuggets of content for the rest of the week.
Okay. And should I be like blogging more now that I'm in my 4-week window?
Once a week.
Okay.
So take the nugget. Take the nugget that you really want to get across. Yeah, Becca, I would say 500. If anybody asked me, I'd be like, yeah, 500 words for a blog. But I would say once a week for a blog, but take the nugget from the video and direct people back to your Facebook video. So link your blog to your Facebook page and say, I was talking about this on Monday. If you want to go and hear the rest of what I had to say, then point them off to your Facebook page where you went live. And then you're cross-posting.
Yeah.
Which will help your SEO as well.
Yeah. I think the really, really key thing again is knowing the purpose of why you're doing it and what you're driving people to. So exactly the same as like what I said to Liz, at the end of that webinar, you have to know exactly what you want, what action you want people to take. And it's the same for you, Zoe. When you're doing those lives and you're building up, you need to always be thinking in the back of your mind, I'm building up for the next 3 weeks to the point where I'm going to drop an action that I want them to take.
Yeah.
And that action is going to be, you know, and even if, I know that we spoke before about like waitlisting, and in the future, once you run a second or third time, you can build a wait list and you can promote the wait list all the way through this period. And then when you turn on sales, obviously you can sell to the wait list first. But actually this time round, you can just obviously be promoting your freebie and getting people into that freebie. So every time that you're talking about something, you'll be linking it back and saying, you know, oh, I wrote about this in the 3-page guide that I wrote, or like, you know, you're going to always kind of link your stories or your outcomes or whatever you're talking about back into that thing to make people want to download it.
Okay.
So that you're pulling people in, but again, thinking about what additional audiences you can get yourself in front of. Because as many audiences as you get yourself in front of, obviously the more new eyes, the more likely you are to make sales.
Okay. Because the other thing I was thinking, you know, all those groups I wasn't allowed to post my link into, I am allowed to post my blogs into. So a little mummy daughter adventure queen post, and I love her wild.
Best trick ever. I do it as well. So the best thing for that is to go and hunt down your groups that you want to join, and then you yourself share it on your Facebook page, and then don't share it off of your actual Facebook page, because then they'll continue it as spam. But you on your personal profile, share it linking off of your actual business profile. They'll let you do it if it's a blog post. It's a nice little trick to get website clicks.
But the thing is as well is, like, again, so when you write your blog posts, you need to think about the fact that you need to include a download link to your free guide.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. That's, I could put that in the blog post that I can then share. Bless you.
All good? All good? Yes, exactly that. And like, again, what I would say, Zoe, is don't just put it right at the bottom.
Right.
So a lot of people make the mistake, and I still do this because I'm lazy and I need to do better, but I tell you the truth. So don't do this because it doesn't work. Do better. So as you're going through, try and mention the guide 2 or 3 times and have that, you know, every time you mention the word guide, it's a clickable word that they can link to. And the reason is because some people won't read the whole thing. So some people will kind of get, 2/3 of the way through, they've got the gist of it. They don't then read that last little bit. So actually setting it up so that you write the blog, and I mean, you're going to almost purposefully write a blog to go into those groups. So you've got that in mind, like that is the purpose of this blog. So you don't put it in the first 100 words, like don't put it in the first paragraph, because if they do open it, they might open it before they accept it, just to make sure it's not spammy. So leave it slightly further down, but as soon as you kind of can, you want to make reference to, so that people can then go and download it.
Okay. Yeah, it's just being sneaky about how not sneaky, but like getting it to the right people, but without breaking the group rules.
But the thing is like what you've got to think about is, I mean, for most people who run groups, their logical thought is, if somebody clicks on your blog post, they click on the title, the picture, they're already engaged with you. Like, you know, that you don't go into a group and click on a post that has absolutely no relevance to you.
Yeah, and I'm active in those groups anyway. It's not like I've just joined them to spam them.
Exactly. So I think it's about going through that process and thinking about how you position those blogs in a really, really like good way for the type of audiences. And it might be the one that you write on the back of the strip.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's and there's some lovely photos that I took as well that will enhance it, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely always have a purpose of what you're driving people to. That is like the key thing. If you don't have a purpose of where you're driving people, you're not going to be successful, because you're just building relationships and you're not actually making an offer at any point. So there has to be an offer attached.
Okay.
So, any other questions from you ladies?
I have a little other question.
Yes.
So I'm driving, so my funnel at the moment is to my program, to my 8-week mindset program.
Yes.
If I wanted to have a similar funnel that was for my one-to-one coaching,
yes,
would I do it in the same way but with a slightly different freebie?
Yeah, you could.
Like, because my one-to-one coaching, the people who tend to find me tend to be like a bit more therapeutic in the kind of coaching, so it's almost not quite as adventure-y. It's often confidence that people come to me for, or like getting rid of the feelings that are associated with memories and stuff like that. So without it being too far into the trauma world, which I kind of cover a little bit as well, but yeah, they're coming to me for one-to-one coaching. I don't know that they would find me through the same type of freebie.
Okay, so do you want to do both?
Yes. Yeah, because it quite nice to mix it up a little bit and earn a bit more money.
Let me ask you that question again. Forget about the money. You can earn the same amount of money from both things, so forget about the money. Do you want to do both?
I like doing one-to-one, actually, yeah. I do want to do one-to-ones.
Okay. Do you want to do one-to-ones with people on that confidence trauma, or do you want to do one-to-ones with people that do your program and want extra support?
Yeah, probably those would be my first choice, actually, yeah.
Okay, so don't build a second funnel.
Okay, so they would come through the program and then think, I need more of that, and do more of that. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So this is the thing
about what I do in the meantime between those. Like, if I'm thinking this is like, I've got people on my program and that's it for my first one.
Absolutely. And actually, what you want to think about, though, is in a similar way to what I said to Liz, you could build a mini funnel that is literally just, I'm going to run a live webinar and I'm going to target it at trauma, obviously low spectrum. And then I'm going to make an offer off the back of that for a one-to-one, just immediate thing, which you don't then go out and build a whole funnel and website for. You just have you know, this is the step. You email me with this code and we book the sessions in, type of a thing. Okay. So you could build a really simple funnel, just like a lifeboat offer. Yeah. It doesn't take you completely away from what you're doing. It's a skill set that you can flex really, really easily. And actually you can tie it in with people going back to work, people going back to school. Like pick a niche. Niche it down, pick something, and then just build something for that. And then just say to yourself, I'm going to put effort in for the next, launch this first.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't.
Launch this first. Once you're up and running, say to yourself, okay, I'm going to put effort into this for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to run the webinar, and what comes. And, you could sign up 1 or 2 one-to-one customers from that. But that's something that is a standalone that you can turn on and off when you want to. And actually, there doesn't have to be drivers back to your website or loads of content or stuff like that. You can just go into audiences that know you already in that world. But yeah, I would say that when you first start, obviously there is this balance of you don't make enough in a launch to last you for the amount of time that it goes on for. And that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
Always. However, if you keep at it, that table will shift quite dramatically, where actually you can earn enough to last you for more than the time that the course runs.
Okay.
So you just have to think about, like, as soon as you do this one, you want to start planning the next one. And actually, I would urge all of you to write down the next 5 launch dates. So what are the next 5 dates between this year, next year, into the year after that, if that's how long your launches need to be. But actually, what are the next 5 dates that you're going to commit to launching this product come hell or high water? Because that's the only way this is successful. You have to keep doing it. Like, you can't do it once and then just walk away from it. So, and I mean, if you think about, like, the first time I launched, there was pretty much just minimal interest and nobody said, oh, next time. This time I've launched, I had more interest and people have said next time. Because actually what happens is some of these people have followed me from the beginning and they've seen that it's run once and now it's running again. It gives them the confidence to be like, oh yeah, actually, I can now start saving for next time because I know that this is coming again. Whereas, especially, it's quite weird because people that know you really well are normally the people who don't trust you immediately.
There's convincer strategies that are different for different people as well.
Yeah. And that's what you've got to think about. You'll have people in your audience already who are clients, but they need to see you do this 2 or 3 times before they buy it. And that's where so many people go wrong. They run it once, maybe run it twice if they can muster up the courage, and then they just never do it again. So you've got to kind of think about that return on investment is not going to be immediate. But once you get to launch sort of 4, 5, etc., the table will start to shift. And that's when it becomes really valuable. Because your output doesn't have to get any more. Even when you run it for the second time. So like this time round, in the first week, I was like, oh, I'm going to refilm all of the videos. Because I don't actually know what to do with myself. I should be filming videos. And actually it's about that thing, you know, once you, I mean, the second time round you probably will refilm videos just because you will have learned so much from the first time round. But when I get, like now, I'm already thinking, as I'm filming these videos, I'm thinking, I need to talk to my whole ideal client group, not to you guys. Because I filmed the first videos talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Stace, that's not good.
Yeah, you got all the view, no internet.
Yeah.
Oh, we're due a storm, I think. The wind's picked up. So,
There's nothing wrong with that.
if I cut off, it's because it's just dying.
That's okay.
What I get for living in the back of beyond.
So I wanted to Stacey, I wanted to actually pick on you.
Oh, okay. All righty. 1 second, I'll be back.
Oh yeah, now she leaves.
Now she's got to make.
She leaves. Yeah, don't worry, we can hear you.
It's all right. I'm going to just organise everyone.
I love it.
Come on, turn that off. Right.
Is the best way for me to give you feedback about the workbook on the same Facebook group still?
Right, I'm back.
Okay, hold on. Liz is answering a question. Yeah? Liz is not.
I couldn't get the bloody mouse to do it. I'm doing it. Yes, please. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
When are you planning to have the updates done by, Liz?
Well, I've cleared my diary tomorrow because I had other things booked in tomorrow, but I've cleared that because I was so naughty today. So I'm hoping to have done that tomorrow. So it's going to be Which will make sense because then I will actually change the stuff that I'd started doing on landing pages. So I shall bin that, do update the workbook. But it's mostly about sort of, I've got to go back and look at the recording.
Yeah.
So I tried to scribble notes, but as I was scribbling, I wasn't listening. But it's mostly about sort of why I've developed it, where the questions have come from, what my aim is about it, who am I. So it's sort of those sorts of things more than anything else, and then to talk about really identify the people that will benefit from it. So when I start talking about leadership, one of the things that they said is one of my passions is that I'm after those people. And I know right at the beginning people say, well, people who are successful won't be wanting you. Well, that's not true, actually. Hang on a moment. Most people who are successful, they're still trying to squeeze that last bit of lemon juice out. They're really going for it. And they're the people that will, you know. So, yeah, so I've just got to try and get that sort of emphasis into that ebook. And then I know it's going to be a bigger copy.
That's fine.
But, you know, people can choose what they read, really, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so...
Well, if you do get it done tomorrow, post it in. We can have a look at it.
Yeah. So the questions themselves won't change, but the first couple of pages will, and the front cover will as well.
Cool. Nice. Sounds good. Okay, we're now going to pick on Stacey. This doesn't happen very often, so I'm quite excited. I thought we'll leave it for the last session, and then we'll
You've got 10 minutes, and then I'm running away because I'm feeding the family.
10 minutes is absolutely fine. So, Stacey, talk to us about your funnel.
Oh, you're nasty. My funnel, and I'm more than happy with my funnel. My funnel is discovery call into premium coaching program. Which I'm happy with, and I absolutely am, and it's because it's what I love to do. I love to do one-to-one stuff. I am not a pre-recorded video girl, whack it up and have a paid course. Doesn't work for me, and I don't think it would work for my clients. So, yeah, at the moment, my funnel looks like exactly that, discovery call and premium coaching. But I am considering my value ladder, put it that way. I'm considering the ladder, that the journey that the people go on, the journey that people, not the people, any people go on. I'm putting out tons and tons of content, which I love, and I'm giving value, which I love. But at the moment, I'm not seeing a return on it. So my impatient self says, I need to see a return. My sensible, long-term planning self says, keep doing what you're doing. It'll come. It'll come. I'm fighting with the impatient versus the slow and steady wins the race. So I'm fighting between being a hare or a tortoise. There you go.
Okay. So what was the new idea? What was the new idea? Idea 2 that you sent me earlier.
So idea 2 was basically nail your story in 4 weeks. A total of 2 hours one-on-one coaching with me, an hour at the beginning, 30 minutes in week 2, 30 minutes at week 4. Nail your Facebook and your Instagram and your About Me pages and a long copy post of any description, one of those origin stories that we all went through. Alongside a Trello board or Voxter or WhatsApp or a way to communicate direct with the client. But it's a short, sharp 4 weeks, in and out.
Okay, so hold that. Don't tell me how much you're going to charge for it yet. Ladies, what are your thoughts? You guys have all seen how Stacey works. You guys have all worked with Stacey. What are your thoughts?
Honest opinions, absolutely welcome. If you think it's a shit idea, tell me.
Oh, Zoe, I can't hear you. Oh, wait, there we go. I've got you now. Carry on.
I think it sounds like a great idea because it's a kind of get you off the ground. And because I know how much value you would add in 4 weeks, then the chances of me then signing up for more or high?
I think it works very much like Zoe said. It's that because we are so needing instant gratification. We're all looking for that, aren't we? And if someone thinks, and it's the one thing that I thought about for my course, the fact that it's 16 weeks. For some people, that will feel like a lifetime, and potentially that could actually put people off because they've got to commit to something.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it is for a lifetime is just nuts. But anyway, but you know what I mean. But if people think that they can just go in there and go, got it, you're going to give me everything.
Mm. Okay. So I would like you grab a piece of paper if you've got one close to you, and write down, without saying anything out loud, write down what you would pay for 4 weeks, 2 hours worth of coaching, nailing your Facebook, Instagram, origin story. What would you pay genuinely if you were going to if you were actually going to part with this money? If Stacey after this said, okay, give that to me right now, because that's what I've helped you do for your business, tell me exactly how much you would pay for it. Doesn't matter what the amount is, just tell me what you'd pay for it.
Tell me again, Stacey.
Go.
Yeah.
What's my guaranteed outcome after 4 weeks? What's going to change?
You would have a nailed on Instagram and Facebook bio that said exactly what you did and what you offered to people. You would have your About Me page redone for your website, and you would have a long copy post that you could use, either an origin story or your aha moment, or like the 3 that we went through. But you'd have my hands-on support, me in your back pocket for 4 weeks as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you, Stacey.
Last time I had an About Me page, and now I haven't got an About Me page. Am I getting an About Me page or not? Come on, you've got to put the price right.
Yeah, sorry, there is an About Me page. I said that, did I not?
I thought you did. I caught that.
Oh,
Time. I
That's
didn't
all
get
right.
it.
Zoe, you're being difficult.
Sorry.
that's the whole point of this, though. I want Stacey to genuinely walk away with something valuable. So yeah, if you write down a figure. So your Instagram and Facebook bios, your About Me page, your origin story, 2 hours worth of coaching split over the 4 weeks, and Stacey in your back pocket for 4 weeks. Somebody who doesn't know Stacey, doesn't know the amount of value she can add, has only seen her Instagram, Facebook posts in the world, put a price on 4 weeks worth of help. Stacey, if you need to go to the kitchen quickly, you're more than welcome. If you
when the timer goes, my dinner's ready, so it'll be like.
If you want to have a little cry, that's okay as well. Stacey didn't know that this was going to happen, by the way. She literally messaged me a little while ago, and I was on another call, and so I thought I would just come in and just deal with it right here and now.
Thanks.
She's never going to message me again.
Leave Stacey on a close-up whilst we give her our feedback. Stacey,
Come on then, come on.
Okay.
Stacey, I want one more thing. Can I have a bonus?
Bonus, I'll write you a long copy blog post.
Can I have a framework to walk away with that I can then continue to use every single time?
Absolutely, if you so wish, I could pull together a story framework. That's pretty easy.
May I bid for you, please? How many times am I going to speak to you?
3 times over the 4 weeks, but you have me in your back pocket on an app of your choice.
Can I make a bid for your time for £850?
Lovely. Thank you, Liz. Zoe?
I'm a cheapskate, but then I realised that when I was doing this, I was thinking my programme needs to be more money. Thinking, oh, shit, I'd pay shitloads more for 4 hours of station than I would for 12 hours of me. Bloody
Good. I'm glad that we're coming up for these money blocks. That's what we should be doing. So, Zoe, what amount did you give Stacey?
I put 550 to 595.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Beck?
I put around 650 to about 650. I would say starting point if you're gonna do like basic, so maybe without all those additions. And then if you add the additions, I would say closer to the 758 mark.
Okay, amazing, ladies. Thank you so much. So Stacey messaged me and said that she's going to put together that package. She doesn't know whether it's got legs or not, so we definitely think it's got legs, which is the first thing, which is really good. Secondly, Stacey said that she was going to put it together for £345.
Are you crazy?
So, yeah.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it at that.
I'll sell it to you for that. So if you want it, you can have it for that price.
she'll sell it to you. It's all good. So, Stacey, what I would say is, as a starting price, your price is bang on.
Mm.
Because people don't know enough about you yet. And these people sitting in this room absolutely know how much value you can add.
Mhm.
The good thing about that is that if you give somebody that for under £350 and you add the amount of value that we know you will, they will quite happily part with 4,000 for your big program.
And that's what I want it to do. That's exactly what I want it to do. Because there'll be people that go, thank you very much, and walk away. And then there will be the people that go, oh shit, I need you for 6 months. I need you in my pocket for 6 months.
Yep, absolutely. Okay,
Would you mind if I put that little proposal into the blueprint group, and would you just give me that feedback? But on that note, I have to go. I'll put it in the blueprint group tonight, and then thank you. Jackie, I'm going to murder you tomorrow morning.
That's okay.
Love you, ladies. Bye.
I knew she'd like that. Thank you very much, ladies, though. That is really, really helpful. And Stacey has been so helpful to us all the way through.
But it does actually make me reevaluate my own numbers, because I think it's based on my background, like yours, Liz, is in that sort of public sector where everything's done like on the cheap and everything seems really expensive, and everyone that I sort of work with in my work environment sucks their teeth if you say something's like 300-400 quid. They're like, oh, we can't afford that. And yet actually, when I'm thinking about what we're actually offering people and the transformation that we can bring about, if I think about how much I even enjoyed my trip this last 2 days compared to how much I did it 2 years ago and nearly buggered myself alive, I think actually that joy is that's priceless, that joy.
That's spot on.
So I'm looking at my prices on my website now thinking that's way under, and I'm not going to like be taken seriously at that actually.
The thing is that what you've got to think about is, for your first launch, not enough people know you. You know, that price is actually really comfortable for your first launch, but actually knowing in yourself that that price does not equate to the value of the program. Like, don't link the price to the value of what you give people. Like, yes, obviously to put your prices up, that's great, but actually you have to start somewhere. And until you are comfortable with your brand and what you charge, like if I said to you right now, like, yeah, just whack it up to £2,000 because that's what people should be paying, you wouldn't want to actually tell people in the world that that's what you were charging. And that's what you've got to think about, is actually, if you've set a price and you feel really comfortable with it, I could say to you, oh, it's worth so much more, but you will really struggle to sell it if you put a price on it that's too high that you don't actually believe people will pay. So taking your prices up in increments is a better strategy than just whacking a high price on it and then wanting to hide under a rock because you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So as you go through, like, you want to stretch your pricing. So if you are thinking to yourself, you know, well, yeah, it's probably worth about £500, you want to make it 6. You want to be just outside your comfort zone where you're constantly putting it up to a point where you're happy with it. But also thinking about, you know, in reality, none of us are here because we want to make millions. Like, you know, yes, that would be great. But in reality, even if we were making, you know, 500,000 a year, that would still be amazing. So actually thinking about, you know, how much do you actually need people to pay for what you're putting out? because I feel like we always want to over deliver. Like that's how we continue to get a good reputation. And I don't mean over deliver to the point where you're doing it for free, or, you know, not that kind of over deliver, but like people need to come in and be thinking like, yeah, that was so worth it. Like that's the best money I've ever spent. Because then they go and tell other people that they need to come and do the course.
Can I just, Zoe, how much is your course?
I put it at $395 for the first run through.
Did that make your toes curl?
Originally, yeah, but now I think, it's worth way more than that, actually.
And I think that's, for me, that's the difference, because I think even when we first started out, I can remember Stacey saying to me, "Oh, I'm going to do it for £99," you know, that sort of thing. And I think because when we speak those figures, it's like we almost have to hear them out loud in order to change that relationship with them, don't we? A bit like our emotions.
Yeah.
And then the more we work on them, the more we understand them, the more we really sort of align with them. I think now, I know it goes against the grain, Jackie, and I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. However,
Go for it.
it feels to me that if you're already comfortable with that and it's not quite making you grin, because that's where your energy is going to go, that maybe now is the time that you puff it up. And
so
you deliver it, smile, get your teeth and your toes curling, going, but I bloody well know it's worth that. You know, it's not the one where, like you say, you're going to run for the hills and crawl under a rock and ask for, you know, £4,500. But it's got to make you go, I have to put all the dots in there. I have to cross those T's. And I really want, you know, the people who are coming in here, I love them. Absolutely love them. You know, you want to eat them. That sort of thing. Well, that to me is what will make you excited.
Zoe, has anybody seen your sales page yet?
No, nobody will have seen the sales page yet.
Well, then put your price up.
Don't know if I told anybody the price. I don't think I think that one person that had a query, but I could honour that for her. But,
well, this is the thing, yeah. If somebody comes back and says, "Oh, but I thought it was X price," I mean, they won't. I can guarantee you they won't. But if they do, you can say to them, you know, yeah, absolutely, I can honour that for you. Yeah, absolutely. But I can almost guarantee you that nobody will.
Yeah.
And actually, I agree with Liz. If you feel comfortable enough now and you feel like actually putting a price on it, what price are you thinking? What price comes to mind?
I was thinking like $450.
Yeah.
So I actually think they're getting quite a lot of hours of coaching and they're getting an awful lot of information. They're going to learn about loads of different techniques. They basically will have mindfulness. They will have loads of kind of breathing stuff. They'll have loads of yoga stuff. They'll have my NLP. They'll have like loads. It's all going in there.
Yeah.
You know when you wrap a present for Christmas and you can't bloody wait to give it to somebody? That's how my course makes me feel.
Yeah.
And I think if you're saying that, you know, fine, they're going to exchange some money for it, but actually, if that's making me smile, then I think that that's a good, fair exchange.
Yeah. And I think that that's the really, really key thing is you've got to feel comfortable enough that that person is going to feel like they've gotten good value. So if you're putting a price on something and you're thinking, you know, people might come in and they might not, you know, they might question how much they're getting, then instantly it's going to shift the way that you talk about the program. But actually, I think, and especially like when you launch it for the first time, normally you haven't built the content. So you don't actually...
But that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sketchy ideas.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't actually have any idea how much value it's actually going to add for somebody. And that's why we normally go low. Because actually we're not confident yet in what it's going to add. As soon as we build out that structure and we see people going through it, you'll instantly be like, okay, I can charge more for this. Like I can see the difference. We'll have the testimonials, like you'll have all of that thing. But actually, if you're already shaping it out and you're already feeling like that, put your price up before you start. Definitely.
Because I was just going to ask a question about like syllabus, because I, as you know, I'm an early adopter. I have a really weak convincer strategy. I buy magic beans. If I trust a person, I'll buy their magic beans.
Yeah.
But somebody on another group that is putting together a course that I've seen, and lots of people were impressed by her syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously don't have, because I was thinking, I know roughly what I want to put in, and I can kind of think, well, I'm going to say this is week 1, and I'm going to, but I was thinking, actually, would other people be, if people could see an actual syllabus, because they wouldn't. I'm the person that doesn't read it, as you know.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, should I put that together, because that will appeal to the people who I'm possibly not.
It would appeal to me. I like to know what you're giving me.
So
Okay.
I would say,
That's what I wanted to ask, really.
yeah, I would say yes, Zoe, definitely. But what I would say as well is not for this launch.
Okay.
So build your syllabus as you build your program, and then put it onto your sales page for the next launch. Oh, we lost
Okay.
Beth. That was the end of her internet.
Okay.
Because I think that, yes, people will need to see that. Yes, I completely agree that it's important. I like to see that as well. But I think that there is a time where actually you need to stop doing, and you just need to get on with it. So you need to stop kind of faffing and adding and going, oh, actually, I need to build this before people will buy it. It's nonsense.
So I could just put out like this sketchy bit of what I've got now. Like in week 1, you'll find about commitment, which is linked to your purpose and how you elicit what's important to you. Is that enough?
Yeah, absolutely. So like week 1 is going to be this topic, week 2 is going to be this topic. Like you can give that loose an outline, as long as they know how many lives that they're going to get, or like, you know, how many hours interaction they're going to get. Don't get me wrong, that will be the thing that helps you scale up how many sales you make. So in future, that will be a really good thing to add. But actually, if you try and build for perfection now, you're never going to get there. Yeah. So it's about putting up the placeholder and then extending that as you go.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, you will have to think about all of the different types of people. And exactly like if you're planning a lesson, Zoe, you think about all of the different ways that people learn. You want to use that same concept and hit all of those same factors when you sell. But not on your first round. You want to do that on your second round, because you'll learn so much every time you launch. But nobody can teach you that stuff until you go through it. So like, remember what I said about like evolution, and even just this price thing, like where you started with your prices and how you felt at the time to how you feel now. I haven't specifically spoken to you about pricing. You know, we haven't specifically run a session on it, but actually your confidence around your process and your practicality and how it's all going to tie together and what you're going to offer has just built, and it's built your confidence. It's the same with launching. I can't tell you any of the extra stuff until you do it. And then once you do it, you'll be like, oh, I get what you're saying now. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you really specific questions that say, when I do this, what is the thing that's missing? But until you do it for the first time, you can't go to that next level of evolution. And I think that that's what's so important. Like, you get to this stage and you just need to do it now. You just need to ramp it up. You need to make the offer. And even if not a single person buys, you've learned. You've learned what were the things that got attention, what were the things that didn't, where did I put my energy, where didn't I? You know, you've learned. And I think that that's what's so important. But in reality, the amount of audience that you guys have, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to sell 1 or 2 or 3 places.
Yeah, and I'm only aiming for 4 for my first one anyway. And I've got like 3 people on my reserve list who work with me that have kind of indicated that they would be interested, sort of like as beta testers. So, yeah, kind of thinking one again. If
you put up the course to 450, and then you go out to those 3 people and say to them, I'll give you 50% off that $450 price, but you have to sign up this weekend before sales open. Once sales are open, that offer's off the table, basically. So you almost give them, you open it like a week in advance for them. You give them that option to go through the process. And actually then, if they are serious about doing it and they buy in, you start your sales, already have made sales.
Yeah.
And like,
actually, thinking about that 50% price isn't that far off where I originally started thinking, I don't want to overcharge people. It's probably not that far off that.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, this is what you've got to think about. Like, as you're going through the process, especially on your first launch, even your second launch, do the things that will make you most comfortable to sell. So like for me, when you bought Zoe, my instant reaction was absolute fear. Like, oh my gosh, somebody's bought, what if nobody else buys? And then it's literally just going to be me and Zoe sitting in a room. Like, I was like, this cannot happen. This cannot happen. This is not allowed. And then like my whole mission became, okay, so who are the people that I can go to if nobody else buys? And one of them was Stacey. So I said to Stacey, like, you're going to be a guest speaker on the course. Can you just come into the whole program as a person? Just so I'm never, ever just out on the call by myself. So, like, if nobody else turns up, at least I know you will. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And, like, that's the thing. Like, you have to have that backup plan that will make you feel really comfortable as you go through that process.
I'm definitely going to use that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I shall have some people on standby.
And the thing is like, even with that, you know, you could say to people, so like Liz, you could say to me, can you come on my course? But I'm going to tell people that you've bought it. You know, I'm going to tell people in the world that you've bought it, even if you've only paid, you know, a tenner for it. Because actually it's about that process. You know, that person's still going to get the same amount of value from you, even if they haven't bought it. And my thing, like when I first started, I kind of had this idea in my mind, like if I need to get anyone in for free because I need numbers, because, you know, I can't be dealing with having nobody, I'll have like certain criteria. So I'll say to people, you can come in for free, but I need to know that you're into the program.
Yes.
And that you'll show up.
I was going to say that, because it's no good having my sister in there and people like, oh, they'll probably be okay. And I probably have my daughters, to be fair, without saying that they're my daughters, just because actually I think they would benefit from it. But then it would be things like those people who I think are potential leaders already, you know, maybe fellow business owners that are holding themselves. And I would have that criteria and also ask them for what my expectations are of parting with my information, what I needed back from them.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a different relationship again.
Yeah.
Rather than them sitting there just sort of, you know, painting toenails and, you know. Yeah,
they're not there to be puppets, are they? They will.
That's what you want, isn't it? Because otherwise it's not fair on the other person who, you know.
Whoever bought.
If anyone's bought at all, or if everyone's in there doing the same thing.
All of those people will have bought.
Yes, all of those people will have bought. But it's that, isn't it? But you want them to have feedback. So I want everyone to walk away. So I will have my list. I will have my list of people to fall back on.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really good thing. You know, there's always that thing about like planning for the worst case, but aiming for the best case.
Well, don't you think? I think it is the best case. When I did my my NLP training course, and I did another course prior to that, I charged £50 per person for a whole weekend. I hired a beautiful restaurant called The Library, which was an old library. It was the oldest library, first library in the city. Stunning. And I bought them all. Included in that £50, they got a 2-course dinner or lunch on both days. Okay. I struggled to sell 2 tickets. 2 tickets, that's all I sold. And I dragged my daughter into it as well. And I was furious with her because she sat on Facebook posting. I just like, oh, Ross, I'm going to kill you. But I know she was working. She was part of the networking people that I was talking to. But it was astonishing just how wrong I got it. But I only sold 2 tickets. But then after that, I was invited to Portsmouth, Southampton, Bristol, and I can't remember the other place. But because everything was so expensive, I couldn't take it to other areas. It's gutting, isn't it? So I made a massive loss. Didn't mind making that loss, but then when I tried to take it other areas of the country, couldn't afford it with my travel and hire, and then obviously ticket prices would go up, and yeah, there's a great learning curve.
Because I was just saying about, like, if I had my friends along, if I charged my friend like 99 quid, she'd probably still come along, but I don't think she'd be as committed, which means she wouldn't get as much out of it.
Yeah.
So if it started with even like the 225 as the half price, because I know they're both part-time teachers, so they won't have like loads of spare cash, but actually they'd probably invest in it a lot more and get a lot more out of it, so they would genuinely get.
And I think that's the thing, though. It's got to be enough. It's almost like the full ticket price. It's got to be enough, like where we've paid into. It's got to be enough that makes you go, I'm going to think about this. I know I need it. I'm going to have to do it. So if it's too cheap, it's like about £50 wasn't big enough to draw people in. And I find it really frustrating. But if you set it, if I set it and I pick the right people, it's like interviewing, isn't it? You've got to pick your right people, and then I think they will be invested because they'll appreciate what they've had for free.
Yeah.
And they'll use
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what's really important, is whether it's free or whether it's charged, it doesn't really matter as long as we have the right conversation going in, and we have the right people going in, and we say to them, yes, you can have this for free, but actually you need to be committed to this. You need to show up for this. You need to be there on every call. You need to be putting this into practice. And actually, by even just stipulating that, you will weed out people. People will say to you, oh, actually, I don't think this is right for me. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I think that's the really kind of key thing. But going through your launch will absolutely, for both of you, will give you again another layer of evolution.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to happen, that next step of evolution.
Yeah.
When are you launching, Liz?
I was launching in September.
So you're launching in September, yeah?
I'm still launching in September, but 1-to-1.
Amazing.
So my launch will be different to the launch that I had planned.
That's fine.
So I shall launch, but yes, it'll be launching as a 1-to-1 offering.
I think that,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think the thing is like, you've done so much work. It would be a shame to not launch off the back of it. You've done like 5 weeks.
I absolutely have to launch
something.
I've got to make it. Yeah, it just needs to happen. I'm getting very close to everything I've done has worked towards it, It very nearly happened some months ago, but I wouldn't have been completely 100% ready. I'd have launched my first ship version. What I've done is I've worked on my first ship version without launching it, and I'm still sitting on it.
Yeah.
So yes, it just needs to go, really. It does just need to go. And I think my next thing is obviously Facebook ads and things, but again, I'm still in that process of haven't finished trying to sort of do the organic stuff.
Yeah. The thing is that, you know, Facebook ads have their place. They absolutely add value, but actually just launch first.
Yeah.
Like, just launch the first one first and then go from there.
Yeah. And it's almost the same sort of thing, isn't it? I launched without launching, which is a bit weird. So I did like a very private launch, then didn't launch. I've worked on it consistently, however slowly and however perfectionism got in my way. So this launch will be like more of a public launch. Next launch will be put some money behind it.
Yeah. I think once I've made some money out of my course, hopefully, then I'll feel like I can put some money into it. At the moment, it's all coming out of my family budget because there isn't any money. I've got
mine too, and I think this is why I've picked up some random, just one-offs. You know, just to put a few pennies back in the meter.
Yeah.
Thing, you know, but I mean, it's life, isn't it? And shit happens, and you get descended on by. You know, this world does another rotation.
Yeah.
You know, but we're back to where I started because that's where we are, and yeah, it's moved, but it has moved on, and I think that for me is success in itself. I'm not knocking that at all. So, like I say, yeah, I think this one will be more of a. It will still be a very public launch because obviously I'll be putting it out on social media and things. But one of the things I am pleased about is I'm having some connections on LinkedIn that I wasn't having.
Amazing.
So only one or two, and I had quite a conversation with somebody today, not about anything, you know, one of those sort of, oh, I liked that, and I liked about the motorbike. Oh, that's nice, good, I like it. Where did you go on your motor? And I'm sort of answering this young lady. She said, I've been reading about NLP. Oh, that's good. You know, it's sort of that type of, but it's great because it's more than what I've had.
Yeah. And the thing is what you need to do is you need to write down those people's names.
Yeah.
And when you are going to do your live webinar, you need to go back into LinkedIn Messenger, find them and message them directly and say, I know that you were saying that you're really into NLP.
Yeah.
I'm running this webinar. It would be so amazing to actually meet you in person.
Yeah.
You know, over internet.
Yeah.
So if you could come along, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for my most recent one. I went back through my LinkedIn chat and I personally invited about 10 people.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to do that as well. It's nice because they just, you know, obviously, and I'm getting views. So even if you're not getting comments, and I don't know, I mean, there is a shyness out there, isn't there, where people will be watching and not speaking and things, but the views are on there, so you know.
The thing is as well is all you're doing is you're building out that audience so that when you do start running ads, there are people there.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that much more powerful, which is so important.
Yeah. So I think everything happens for a reason, and you know, the right time is coming. So I'm all right. I'm all right with it. I'm trying to be patient with myself.
You've done really well, to be fair.
But it's
You've done really well. Yeah, no, I think that there is a balance of getting it right and getting it out. That you have to know enough about doing it in order to put it out into the world.
Yeah.
But actually, once you know enough, you need to just bite the bullet and do it.
But I think they're the things. I think I've had missing pieces. And now I don't have. I probably still have missing pieces, but that's probably more to do with my neurological connections than anything else. But, you know, I think sometimes doing it actually fills in those gaps and makes those connections.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Yeah, I'm in a better place than I was. So yes, it'll happen this time. It'll happen.
I'm very excited to see them happen.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be
Okay,
good.
ladies, I am going to sign off now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It is only a pleasure. It has been so lovely to see you, ladies.
Isn't it typical? First one's at the party, last one's to leave.
Always, always. Nothing wrong with that. And I will post the replay of this into the group.
Fab. Thanks ever so much, Jackie.
Have a good
Thanks
evening,
for the whole
ladies.
process, Jackie.
Only a pleasure. Only a pleasure. I'll chat to you guys soon.
All right,
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.